Hello, this is Starshot here to welcome you back to my Let's Play of Castle in the Darkness. We last left off defeating the giant crab monster where we got our ultimate sword, and we also eventually finally got the chicken dinner, which is kind of one of the last items on the list we didn't get. And so now we're taking on the X-Knight, and hopefully we'll defeat him once and for all and get the ultimate magic. So let's get started. So, for the most part, I'll try this battle as many times as possible. I feel like the last one, I was actually pretty close to beating him. I just needed to avoid some of the magic shots a bit more. And hopefully I'll be able to do that this time here. Ah, darn it. I need to get through the spikes first, though. And, as you kind of saw, after you kind of get a decent handle on him, and kind of once you get all the different strong equipment you can get, it really does help. Of course, to me it sort of looks like it might be beneficial to try using the snow magic, the one that absorbs projectiles, because I'm getting too overzealous here. Because it looked like that a lot of for the most part the sword is long enough now that it actually reaches him and hits him now compared to before. So it could be that might be a better spell to use, but I'll give the lightning bolt here another try. Oh, no, I forgot to change that out actually, so it's a good thing I didn't go up against him just yet. I guess I forgot to change it out from the last time. So, let's see. Yeah, I was using the lightning bolt, which I think should work out pretty well. But yeah, so, but I think the snowstorm might work too. It won't really work when he's flying around the room, which is probably the biggest issue you'll deal with. Let's see. Here's the next one, is right here. I think the next one here was, no, it's right here. Then a lower one here. Then a farther one here, and then there. So, I think this should work pretty well. We were pretty close before, we just kind of needed to avoid a few more magic spells. These kind of flying orb things are quite annoying to deal with. That was actually a pretty good dodge there. I'm surprised myself there, actually. But yeah, since you don't really get too big of a window to hit him, it's probably best to try using it as much as possible. Okay, I gotta keep dealing with the flying orbs again. And that's kind of the other issue I find with this battle, is that you can't really hit him from the other side that well because of the sword you're trying to watch out for. But overall, his attacks aren't too hard to avoid. Overall, you just kind of have to try to keep track of everything. And so me being able to somehow commentate while also dodging all this, I think is a pretty good indication of just how good I can multitask here. But I need to kind of be careful here and avoid the sword slashes as best as I can. That you kind of pretty much have to prioritize your dodging as much as possible. And, not worry about trying to get damage in, because you can pretty much proc him to damage at any time here. There we go. just a few more hits here should pretty much do him in now. Ah, darn it. Yeah, but sometimes it can be difficult trying to avoid the orbs here because of just their placement as they show up. There we go. I almost got him there. You know, as I said, it's always kind of annoying having to keep charging up here. But that initial attack it kind of did to me really got me, but I've been pretty good at trying to avoid everything now. There we go, finally. And the X-Knight is defeated. Excellent, as I thought. Please, accept my strength. Farewell, brave one. Now we got the X-Sword magic. And as you can see, now we kind of have like a little ghost sword that kind of attacks, which counts as another hit from the sword. And if we charge up, we get to shoot our own beam. Wait, are all the spikes gone? Oh, awesome! Hooray! I'm glad that they didn't, you know, leave the spikes in there for us to try and navigate back. So let's go ahead and save. And then, of course, if you're wondering where the heart is, it's actually down here in this treasure chest. Now we get the +5 to our health. And with that, we are finally ready to take on the final Dark Lord boss. Now we just have to get there, which thankfully we've already kind of made our way there, so it shouldn't take too long either. Of course, I forget what this is for, like why the crystal here is broken and all that, so... But I'm sure that's a story for another time. But let's see here, so... Yeah, here's the save point for this area here. I'm pretty much good with having the armor, the sword, the X magic, or X sword, and all that. Like, having a spell that makes you, that consistently keeps going, is probably the best spell you can have in a game where that's not, you always have to kind of keep charging up. I tried to fight the sorcerer alone, but he was too strong. Please, you have to stop him. I found this. My father's pendant. This must mean that he's alive. Please save him. Alright. So, but here's the sorcerer. Yes, he looks very menacing, doesn't he? Yep, there. The sorcerer is really the king. And thanks to the white orb we picked up, it should help save him here. But we kind of have to buy the white orb time, I believe, to take out all the evil here. I believe that's what it's doing. There we go. Man, the king's really big, isn't he? Isabel? What have I done? I was controlled by the darkness. Yep, and there's the darkness. We must go! Hurry, before we get sucked in! Was that a nod? I guess it was. You You worm, you'll never stop my resurrection. I will cover your world in eternal darkness. Okay, so how do I hurt him? Do I have to hit the orbs back? Or do I have to try to use the X-Death here? Oh, I have to hit his horn, of course. Oh, so I can only hurt him when his horn is glowing like that. Well, it's a good thing I do have the X-Sword here. Of course. Gotta have other magic powers to use here. There we go. That should hopefully do at least a bit more damage here. But I can't really go at him when he's cast the lightning one without getting hurt. I pretty much have to do it like that at this point. Yeah, that seems like the best I can kind of do against him in this respect. So it's not too hard of a battle, especially if we kind of gotten everything we can right here. You know, with all the health, armor, weapons, magic we've gotten. We're kind of pretty set here, but you do have to kind of learn his patterns. Like how the, you know, that magic there, you just sit in the middle. What does the white one do? Oh, the white one does this wind spell here that kind of covers the screen, so you just have to dodge it. And there's this one where it kind of goes after you if you try to in the middle there, so, and then we just stay there, hit him there. So he's not too bad actually compared to the other bosses we faced. Oh, darn it, I thought I would have gotten him there. So it looks like this isn't actually too hard of a battle, just because of everything we've done. And his color-coded, you know, fighting style as well doesn't hurt either. So yeah, there's the normal one he does, which does the lightning and the balls. Then this one, which... Okay, so he actually does do a bit more when he gets lower here. And he also does this one as well, which you kind of have to hopefully dodge as best you can. Ah, darn it. Keep getting hit when I go through the bottom there. Oh, not much of that one there. Okay, so I just have to wait there to try and for that. So yeah, I actually wasn't sure how quickly I would defeat this final boss here. What the? Oh, I got hit by the wind and it tossed me up into the ceiling, which had a bunch of spikes in it, so... Oh well. So, pretty much same strategy as before. We just kind of have to dodge all his attacks, or wait for the darkness to dispel first before we kind of go after the sorcerer. But, so yeah, as you saw, you can defeat him as the sorcerer before you get the white orb. But as I said, to kind of 100% complete, which is what we were going for here, that's sort of kind of how you find the final boss here. Oh, I just shot off too early there. Can we kind of skip through this at all? I guess not. Oh well, so... like, as I said, it shouldn't take me too long. I just have to make sure I avoid all those attacks and such. But with all the HP and the armor we've gotten here, we're pretty set on, kind of defeating this Dark Lord, as we see here. So, kind of here we go again with this whole charade. And I have to just wait for the white orb to free him before I can fight the true boss. So you'll have to go through this if you don't win the first time. But yeah, as I said, pretty much just do your best to dodge and try to avoid as much damage as you can while the orb does its thing. Of course, some spells are a bit easier to dodge than others. Alright, there we go. So not too bad that time. But yeah, like, I don't mind having, like, multiple endings for a game either. As long as they're kind of reasonable and, like, make sense, like they are actually a whole different ending. Not just something you color code into the game, like sadly Mass Effect 3 did. You know, like that whole big fiasco with how the ending turned out after having all these impactful choices you had throughout the game to be boiled down to which color you wanted the ending to turn out to be. And just with how things turned out, it's kind of sad how to see it like that. But you know, at least they are finding a way to continue the series, even if it didn't turn out as much as people had hoped for. But I still at least hold out that, because like the world they created with Mass Effect hasn't gone away. You know, I'm pretty sure it's something that they'll want to keep working on, and hopefully, you know, because as long as they keep working on this series of the world of Mass Effect, then there's hope that it'll get better again, like it used to be. Even if the original Mass Effect wasn't without its flaws either, by no means. But yeah, for the most part, there aren't too many, you know, like, there are a few openings with some of his spells here and there to hit him, but overall, you really, like, you can't really hit him unless you go up on the platform here. So, and the white spell, you really have to watch out for, so pretty much out of, looks like the red one, the regular, like, I guess light blue one, and maybe even the purple one sometimes if you're lucky, are kind of the only ones you can get really any hits on, by the looks of it. But yeah, if you can keep doing this red spell here, then we're kind of golden. It's just too bad that this red ball here keeps kind of flying around, and so we just have to keep dodging it as best as we can. But yeah, and I'm fine with the idea of a final boss not being as hard as the optional bosses, because that's kind of, you know, you want to make sure everyone can be able to beat the final boss no matter what. So you tend to make that easier than the extra content bosses that require you to do more, which I think is completely reasonable. And that's usually the sign of a good game designer, is realizing that instead of trying to do something clever sometimes, is kind of going with the reasonable choice, not the, oh, this is going to be so great choice, and it just turns out horrible really in the end. Yeah, I keep forgetting to dodge that. And I guess I'm not quite sure why it's his horn that seems to be the source of his weakness here. Ah, darn it. Okay, so I definitely need to try and make sure I get my jump and the beam here a bit better in terms of positioning to hit the horn here. At least the red ball here is kind of slow enough that, you know, you can easily dodge it or not worry about it for most of the time. And it looks like I found a pretty good spot to avoid that initial those balls kind of flying at you. And at least the tornadoes don't really fly you up too high. It's only if you try to go after him when they're flying around near the ceiling here that you have to watch out for. Like, for the most part, I'm just gonna avoid dealing with that. Okay, so they do hurt you, but yeah, just try to avoid them down in the corner there and you should be fine. Like, I guess I'm trying to remember if I had too hard of a time fighting him the first time, really. Or not, but well, it's kind of, each boss has their own difficulty, and I think this is a reasonable challenge, especially if even if you're not planning on doing everything. It still kind of gives you have to think, you have to kind of see his pattern and avoid it. There we go. And the Dark Lord, or whatever he's called, is finally defeated once and for all. Wait, why is the giant owl we kept fighting helping us? Okay, with the king brought to safety, Isabel returned to the castle and saved the hero's life within a split second of the demise. Wasn't this a very similar screen to Castlevania? Maybe, I think. So many homages. Including the taking off the helmet, apparently. And there you have it, folks. Castle in the Darkness, 100%. So, plenty of fun to be had, and plenty of stuff to do. So I definitely recommend giving the game a try. Have some fun with it. You know, play as much as you think so, but I enjoy doing 100% for this game at least. You know, getting all the bosses, getting all the armor and stuff like that, I think is pretty great. Gives you a fairly nice challenge, and the music is great too. I could do without some of the death traps and some of the other stuff too, but oh well. You know, thankfully it's not a super long game either, so it's not like this is gonna be taking up your entire, you know, month of game playing. Yep, completed with 100%. And of course there is New Game Plus, and you can play again with more challenges and secrets and things like that. But for me, that's pretty much kind of where I draw the line. Usually New Game Plus is something you do if either you really want to play the game again, or you want to take on those extra challenges, but I'm pretty happy with what I've done, and I hope you've enjoyed my Let's Play of Castle in the Darkness. So, I hope you look forward to my next game. I haven't decided on what it is just yet, but I'll be sure to let you know when it happens. So until next time, have fun gaming.